Hello, hello. Hello. Is manifestation real? Can you create a new reality with nothing but your thoughts? Yes, you can. And no, you can't. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, I am Kyle. This is Mill Worker to Millionaire. I'm a mill worker who will be posting here every week until I'm a millionaire. That's kind of a bold statement, right? Why would I think, that it's even possible to me? Because I have visualized things into reality, all right? But it's not as simple as that. Today I'm going to share with you guys my experiences manifesting the things that people say that I believe are true and the things that from my experience are absolutely not true. So first, let me share where I first came into contact with this idea. And then later, I'll tell you the things I manifested, the things that work, the things that don't. But it is a valuable tool, guys, and it's worth trying to understand it because really you're learning about the way that the human mind works. So this is going to be a very practical video. We might get into a little bit of spirituality way later at the end if I'm feeling bold enough to open up to you guys. I mean, hey, I just met you. Can't expect me to open up and wear my heart on my sleeve just yet, but maybe I will. I'm that kind of guy. So, first time I ever came into contact with the idea that you can think something into reality, and guys, I come from humble blue-collar beginnings, okay? So nobody was talking about this. Nobody in my childhood was talking about goals or dreams or building businesses. Nobody was talking about any of this. My dad worked on cars. My mom was on disability my whole life. That's it. All right? Nobody ever mentioned a goal that they had in my house. So I had to figure all this out on my own later. If that sounds like a similar story to your upbringing, you're in the right place. So the first place I came into contact with this idea is the same place that millions of people came into contact with this idea, the book, The Secret. Okay? Now, The Secret is a solid start to get you thinking about this, but there's a lot of problems with The Secret. All right? The Secret itself, I do not think can make you rich if you don't think about it on a deeper level. So basically the idea of The Secret is you think about what you want, keep it in your mind, and it will happen through some magic secret, okay? Call it God, call it the universe, call it the secret. Now, I had a dream before my dream of becoming financially free and being a successful YouTuber. You thought I was just a guy with like 4 or 5 subscribers, huh? Nope. Think again. I have a very successful other channel. This channel is going to be where I document my journey to wealth. And notice how I say that confidently as if I know it's coming, and I do because I've seen it. So we'll talk about that later. Now, The Secret tells you these things. It gives you a couple of practical ideas like visualize yourself getting a coffee and somebody will bring you a coffee, things like that. But it really led me astray with my first dream. Okay, and my first dream was to be a musician. Guys, I was very talented. I was writing lyrics hours and hours a day. I was practicing my voice, practicing. And there was not a better musician in my bedroom. And that was the problem, guys. Nobody knew I existed. It didn't matter how cool my lyrics were, how much melody I had. Didn't matter, because nobody knew. And why did nobody know? Because I was sitting in my room 100% confident that if I held this dream in my mind, it would come to me. Okay? That's where The Secret's wrong. There's not one chapter in that book that tells you to visualize and then take massive action. Okay? Now, The Secret, it's a good start. Where I went after that, Think and Grow Rich, and this one, the book Think and Grow Rich, has made more millionaires than any other book. Nowadays on the internet, people are talking crap about Napoleon Hill, but hey, I don't care. His book is genius, and it changed my life. Now this book is the secret sauce, guys. It tells you to spend 30 minutes a day visualizing what you want. Make a plan. Start telling yourself affirmations. Building a burning desire. That's the most important thing I ever did in my life. And to take as much positive action as you possibly can. That is the key, guys. The action, the action, the action. So later, I looked into a guy named Neville Goddard. He also has changed my life. He's been dead for decades, but he's a mentor of mine spiritually. Love his lectures. I could listen to him all day and many midnight shifts, guys. I was running a crane at the steel mill, listening to Neville Goddard. And what he says is your imagination is God. And when you imagine something, that's God at work. And it's really cool because Neville, the way he says it is when you imagine something, when you put yourself into a scene in your mind, and we'll talk about how to do it a little later, and you visualize it so vividly that your subconscious mind accepts it as true, as soon as you can trick your mind into accepting that it's true, it's out of your hands. God, as Neville would say, God or your wonderful human imagination, which he says is God, will take care of it from there, and it is none of your business how it will come to pass. Just know that it will. So, my first dream failed because I had the dream, but I did not take crazy amounts of action, okay? Now, let me tell you how my next dream, and we could honestly say, guys, that my next dream was just to get this. All I wanted was 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I thought that when I got this 100,000 play button, my life would change, all my problems would go away, everything would be solved. That was not the case, but it did happen. And you could say that I manifested that. So let me tell you the story of manifestation from zero to that, to where I am now today, and in a day or two, I'll be hitting 300,000 subscribers, guys. I've 3x'd my original goal. So where it all started, I teach English on that channel. I learned Spanish on YouTube from a channel called Dreaming Spanish. If any of you guys are language learners, maybe you know that. It's Pablo Roman's channel. Guess what, guys? I collaborated with Pablo. I visualized that before it happened. But anyway, I based my channel off the work he did there, teaching people English through comprehensible input. This is not a language channel. I speak about language all the time on my other channel. I'm tired of it. Just giving you guys an idea what I do there. And that I actually spoke with my hero, my YouTube hero, Pablo. And where it all started, back in COVID, everybody was sitting around the house, couldn't go out, couldn't do anything. I decided to make a YouTube channel. I had recently learned Spanish with comprehensible input. So I told myself, all right, I'm going to reverse this and bring comprehensible input of English to the Spanish-speaking world because, hey, they welcome me with open arms. I love my Latinos. I've had so many good experiences. I've been in Colombia. My wife is Colombian. My in-laws are Colombian. My baby girl's half Colombian. Half of my heart is Colombian, guys. Tons of Mexican friends. I get along very well with Latinos. That's beside the point. So back in COVID, I decided to make this channel, and it was basically the same thing as Dreaming Spanish, but reverse. And I started making videos, just sharing my life. At first, I was really copycatting Pablo's stuff, until I developed my own style. Today, it's changed into something completely different. I cook dishes from all around the world. I travel, I explore, I talk to people. Tons of awesome stuff. I'm living my dream on that channel, guys. But for a long time, guys, nothing happened. 4 subscribers for a couple months. My videos would get 10 views, 35 views. One time I got 300 views on a video, and I was like, oh, no way, this is awesome. Now, guys, on my main channel, if I get 10,000 views in the first week, I'm like, this video's not doing well. But the Kyle from 4 years ago, who was sitting on the couch wanting to create this, would have lost his mind if you got 10,000 views. But now that's the low end of average for me. My best videos got like 800, 900,000 views now. I've got several in the hundreds of thousands. I'm really trying to hit 1 million views over there, and I know it's going to happen. So, how the manifestation started, guys. I worked my butt off, few months, video all the time. I was doing several a week, really putting everything I had into this. And I worked my way up super slow to 247 subscribers. And then I read Think and Grow Rich. Okay? And Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill says to set aside 30 minutes a day to think about your dream. Okay? Think about your goal. Now, I mixed this with the teachings of Neville Goddard, who does the visualization, seeing it as real, seeing it as if you're already there. And I started doing that, guys. I would lay on my couch, set a timer on my phone for 30 minutes, put a pillowcase over my eyes for darkness, and I would see myself sitting in front of the camera like this and saying, guys, we hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm so grateful to all of you. Because at that time, guys, my goal was 1,000 subscribers. And I thought that would be awesome. So for a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks, every day, I sat down and I visualized seeing myself talking to the camera. Guys, we got 1,000 subscribers. Awesome, I'm so happy. Different scenarios, seeing the camera like I see it right now in front of me. Except back then, guys, it wasn't a good camera like this. This camera's badass, guys. And I visualized that camera too. And I would see myself telling everybody, I hit 1,000 subscribers. I would feel myself feeling excited and happy. And then out of nowhere, guys, something crazy happened. All right? I had 247 subscribers. I was getting probably an average of 30 to 60 views per video. And one day I'm at work. I'm up in the crane picking up steel. I look at my YouTube Studio app, and I went from 247 subscribers to 600 and something in like an hour. I'm like, is this thing glitching? Is there an error? What's going on here? And then I look in the comments, and everybody is telling me in Spanish, estoy aquí por Mr. Salas. I'm here because of Mr. Salas. And I'm like, who is Mr. Salas? Who is Mr. Salas? Turns out, guys, this YouTuber who had I think at the time he had 200, he was probably like where I'm at now, close to 300,000 subscribers. He made a video about language YouTubers who deserve more subscribers than they have. And everybody else in that video had a couple thousand subscribers. I was the only one with 200 and something. Guys, somehow this big YouTuber found my channel, picked my channel, and told his big audience that they should come check me out. And guys, within 3 days, I reached my goal of 1,000 subscribers. Okay? Is that a coincidence? To me, it wasn't a coincidence, but let me tell you guys, it gets way crazier. And don't let me forget Mr. Salas later, okay? So, let's jump ahead a couple years, because once I got to 1,000, once again it started slow. I bootstrapped my way to 5,000. And that's where the next manifestation happens. All right, I got to 5,000 subscribers. At that time, my videos were getting, a couple hundred views. A really good video I would consider 400 or 500 views. I was not monetized yet after years of work. So that's part of it, guys. I kept going with no payment. I had a couple memberships on there. I was making $2 a month. Oh, awesome, guys. I decided, you know what? All that time ago, when I made it a point to sit down and visualize, somehow something happened. I've got nothing to lose. All right? Now, at this point, I was living at my mom's house because, crazy stuff happened. My dad died, so my son and I moved in with her to help take care of her for a while. So I was in my old room where I would record my videos, and I would lay in my crappy, uncomfortable bed and visualize myself opening up the box that contained this. Guys, I opened this box hundreds of times in my mind. I held it like this. I felt the edges, I felt the back. I saw myself in that mirror, in my mind's eye. Sorry if you couldn't hear me. In my mind's eye. I saw all that happen hundreds of times. All right. And then, after doing that for a while, one day, somebody came to me on my channel and left a comment, okay? Now, at this point, my channel was only Spanish speakers. I would speak Spanglish in my videos to help them understand, and only Spanish speakers watched my videos. Somehow, some Russian guy came and found my channel. Just a random subscriber, not a YouTuber. And he said, I love your content, but I hate it when you speak Spanish because it confuses me. He said, if you just spoke English and put all of your titles in English, you would have 50,000 subscribers. Now, they say God works through people, and a lot of your opportunities are going to come like that, guys, from a random person. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'm going to do it. Next video I made, just at a hotel with my wife. We were showing the hotel room, put it all in English, only spoke English. That video got like 4,000 views. That was my first video with more than 1,000 views. All right. And then something crazy happened, guys. I started following that routine, and within 3 months, I went from 5,000 to 100,000 subscribers. Now, the crazy thing is, I moved out of my mom's house. You know, I got married. My wife and I had been living together for like 2 years. But every time that I visualized this, I saw myself opening it up in that room at my mom's house. But at this point, when it actually happened, guys, there's no reason. I never go to my mom's house. If I do, I'm in the living room talking to her. But because when you visualize something, it's gonna happen, whether you like it or not. Somehow, the day that it happened, YouTube had my mom's address, so it got sent there. And this was the one day that I was going to stay at my mom's house. I don't even remember why. I told my mom, I need to, what was it? Something with work or something with my son, but I was going to crash at my mom's house for whatever reason. One night, I never do that. And once I showed up over there, there was a package on the porch. It was this. And guys, the one night that I stayed at my mom's house in the last years was the night that came. And guess where I opened my box? I opened that in the same room that I visualized myself opening it 2 years earlier. That dream came true. Oof, I feel the chills, guys. That dream came true, and it never should have been there. Normally, if I get mail at my mom's, I pick it up and I go back home and open it there. And I would have done that any other day, but I already told her that I was going to stay there. Me and my son were going to stay there for whatever reason, I don't remember. So I opened up my box, my play button, at my mom's. So, had 100,000, and guys, I'm ambitious. So I've been sending emails to big YouTubers ever since I had like no subscribers. You know, I had emailed Pablo, I had emailed Steve Kaufman, who's got like 1.5 million subscribers, and he's the biggest language YouTuber. I emailed these guys back when I had a couple thousand subscribers, no response. Once I got that, I emailed Pablo and I said, hey Pablo, my name's Kyle. Your work has inspired me. I just had 100,000 subscribers. I would love to interview you to celebrate because you, my friend, are my language learning mentor. He responded, Kyle, I'd love to. Tell me when. Guys, I saw myself talking to Pablo so many times, collaborating with him, and we did it. All right? Later, I reached out to Steve Kaufman, who I saw myself talking to many times. We did it. Now, I visualized myself seeing these guys, speaking with them, getting this 100,000 subscriber plaque. They all happened. Now let's talk even a little bit crazier, okay? You guys remember that Mr. Salas, that big YouTuber who shouted me out years ago? Well, he commented on one of my videos like a couple months ago and said, "Wow, Kyle, I believed in you when I saw you back then, and I can't believe now you've got almost 300,000 subscribers." He said, "We should collaborate." Now, I've seen myself speaking with him too. And I said, "Yeah, of course, you know." So we made an awesome video. We made two, actually, one on my channel in English, one on his channel in Spanish. That was my first YouTube collaboration in Spanish, so it was very special for me. Now, guys, before I spoke to him, I swear to you guys, I told my wife this too. I visualized myself telling him, "You know what? I appreciate so much what you've done for me, what you did for me in the past. You really helped me out. If you're ever anywhere near Chicago or Indiana, I'd love to buy you a meal to thank you. You know, you're welcome here. You've got a place here." We're in our collaboration, guys. We're talking. He tells me that he plays this trading card game that I guess is super popular now called Disney Lorcana. He's self-admittedly a big nerd. And he said, I mentioned that I live in Indiana, and he said, "Is that near Indianapolis?" And I said, "Wow, Indianapolis is the state capital. Why?" He said, "Because I'm going there for a card game tournament in 2 weeks." Guys, I met him in real life. My wife and I drove down to Indianapolis, and this guy that I've seen on the screen so many times, now he's sitting across from me eating Japanese food. We had ramen with this guy, with a YouTuber who has like 700,000 subscribers. He's got a school community making like 10 G's a month probably. This was a big deal, guys. Big deal. I'm shaking his hand. You know, we're talking like friends. We chilled for like 4 or 5 hours, filmed, hung out, got ice cream. We're on Instagram. He's like, "Guys, you won't believe," you know, all in Spanish, "You won't believe who I'm here with." And he shows me. And I saw that before it happened. Believe me or don't. Doesn't matter. I saw it before it happened. So, guys, now the hard part is to keep the visualizing, because once you get these goals, Neville Goddard always said, it will be a series of events that happen naturally. That's how they come to be. And your mind will tell you, "Oh, this would have happened anyway." But would it have happened anyway? Would a huge YouTuber have found me when I had 200 subscribers? Would a random guy give me the idea that shot me from 5,000 to 100,000 in 3 months? Would I be able to speak with my hero, my 2 language learning mentors? You know, now I'm working with another awesome YouTuber who we're doing business now. He reached out to me, and I got to meet Mr. Salas, shake his hand, and you know, who knows what'll happen there in the future. But the rational part of your mind says, "Yeah, but Kyle, you sat down and filmed a million videos. You worked hard. You read, you learned, you never gave up." And that's true. But why did I never give up? I never gave up because I had a clear vision in my mind, and I refused to let it go. And that's what Think and Grow Rich did for me, guys. It gave me a burning desire, and it truly made me develop the mindset that I will not quit until this dream comes to fruition. And that's why I'm confident here, guys, that right now you're witnessing a millionaire in the making. And I'm not being cocky. I'm telling you the truth. If you're watching right now, you're looking at a millionaire. And I feel confident because, guys, like I said, I grew up in a household where nobody had goals. They would have said, "Oh, you can't be a big YouTuber. You can't be popular or, you know, quote unquote famous." I'm not famous, but in certain countries, people recognize me. And I brought that from nothing with my mind. I visualized it, I saw it, and I put it into action. Okay? I put it into action. And it took me thousands of hours, thousands of times I sat down in front of this camera and filmed with nobody watching, which might be the case right now. But the thing is, you never know. And Steve Kaufman, who's a multimillionaire, who I spoke to, he told me, you get lucky by shooting 1,000 shots, okay? That's more or less what he said. He said it much prettier, I'm sure. Steve's the coolest 80-something-year-old man I ever met. But, I wish my grandpa was like him, guys. I wish I had a grandpa like Steve Kaufman. He basically said that you get lucky by putting yourself out there over and over and over, okay? And I know that if I keep doing this, it might be a year from now, one of these videos is gonna hit. Somebody's gonna see me and think, I like this guy, I like the way he thinks, I want him on my show, on my podcast, blah, blah, blah. It's gonna happen because that's how it works. And I can tell you that with confidence because I have spoke with the big dogs of the language learning worlds. I've shaken their hands. I'm doing business with them. I'm working with an app. There's an AI version of me people can pay to talk to. I've got products that people are buying. So that's how it works. And let me tell you guys one last thing. I told you I might open up. I want to open up a little bit here. If you believe in God or you don't, doesn't matter. One of two options is true. One, God is real, and if you learn how to show him your dreams and live them, like Jesus said, act as if you have received, then he gives them to you. Either that is true, or your subconscious is so much more powerful than we realize, and when you visualize, your brain cannot tell the difference between real and visualized, so it imprints that on your subconscious as if it were an experience you already lived, and once you feel that, it becomes your reality. And your subconscious starts giving you hints of what to do. A thought will come up out of nowhere because your subconscious is thinking even while you sleep. One of those two things is true. One of those two things is true, period. I went from nothing, guys. I'm a shy guy in real life. I grew up shy. Well, I can't say I'm shy anymore. Now I'm confident. I'm me. I'm confident in the skin. I didn't know how to talk to people in high school, guys. I had like 2 friends. I was quiet. People made fun of me and said I was the next Columbine shooter just because I was so quiet in class. And I'm thinking inside, like, I'm a nice guy. Why would you think that about me? Just because I don't talk? That's so mean. But people thought that, guys, honestly. More than once in school, people said, oh, he's going to kill everybody. And I'm like, ouch. Why would you say that when you have no idea who that person is? I was a sweetheart back then, guys. I hadn't even really been broken yet, you know? I had a big, tender heart, and I still do, but that's neither here nor there. One of those things is true, because I went from that shy, quiet kid who people made fun of to a confident guy who people reach out to from around the world and want to work with. All right? And that's such a huge change. If 12-year-old, 13, 14, 15-year-old me could see me now in front of this awesome camera with that YouTube plaque, a hot wife, 2 beautiful children, in a home, making money, he would not know what to think. He would be so proud of me. And the last thing I want to share is something that is from one of those 2 things, okay? I've meditated for a long time. I'm a professional meditator, I would say. Haven't meditated since my daughter was born July 2nd because you can imagine, you can't meditate with a baby. But in my meditations, I have seen that one of these 2 things is true. God is real, or our subconscious mind is so powerful that it can feed us information. It can help us to visualize and live our dream reality, okay? I lean towards those 2 things. I think those 2 things are one and the same. I think God is whatever it is inside of me that's seeing out right now. Consciousness, I think that's God. I think you're looking at God right now, and I think if I was looking into your eyes, I would be looking, what did Neville say? When you meet somebody and you see their face, you are looking at the mask from which behind God is hiding, or something like that. So I'm not saying, oh, I'm God or you're God. I'm saying if there is a God, he's in here, he's in you. And he will help you get your dreams And if there's not a God, then we're just as lucky, because there's something crazy in our subconscious mind that will guide you if you will commit yourself to it. And let me tell you one of the reasons that I would have died before I quit, because when I was meditating one time, guys, I had a vision. And when you are in meditation and you have a vision, which is either a message from your mind or it's God, whatever, guys, this is crazy. You could think I'm crazy or not. One of those two things. It comes like this. You immediately understand the full message in a split second, and you can see it like a movie, but time doesn't exist there. So it's all at once. So what happened to me, guys? I was just relaxing, super tired, trying to calm my mind down, and boom. It's like an immediate download of information. I saw myself in a linear progression, okay? I was up at 4 a.m. jumping rope at the gym. I was sitting in front of the camera. I was crying. I was working hard. I was changing myself. I was growing. And then I heard a voice that was not my voice, okay? And this voice said, "This is the price, and no one who pays it is denied." Whew. And that changed my life. That told me that if you will just dedicate yourself 100% and refuse to give up, stay on this path of growth, of change, of building strength and character. If you will just walk that path and pay that price, nobody is denied. Your dream is your right, but you have to pay for it by paying the price. But the good news, nobody who pays it is denied. All right, guys. If you're a loco, crazy visionary like me, I'm sure some of this hit. If you're not, make fun of me, whatever. Because you have to be brave enough to fail with your own face and name if you want to succeed. So you can talk crap if you want. I don't care. If you're here because you're hearing something that is touching you in some way and it sounds like truth, I love you. You're my kind of person. I respect you. And just remember, guys, this is the price. Nobody who pays it is denied. See you tomorrow.